I just wanted to end the podcast talking about this, and I really, really do. I think if you guys are interested in listening to very relaxing voices talking about the history of Marvel, then you need to go pick up that audiobook. Or if you like the text and you like to feel a book in your hand and read it, or even if you like it on your Kindle, you guys need to go check it out. This has become my almost my go-to now of kind of looking at what went into the movies and all the creative efforts behind them. There was so much in this that I learned about the studio and all the ups and downs with it. The way it starts is it begins on.
Really quick, can I ask a quick question? Quick question before is that the so much of what comes out about this is a lot of like almost like dramatic reveals of things that people talk about. But is it made from like Disney produced this, or did some like journalist like who's the one who created this book? Is my question.
So it was Joanne Robinson and her team. I'm not sure who they are, unfortunately.
Okay,
But she's kind of been the person who's been going on the podcast talking about it. So Disney were originally on board with her doing it, and they were completely open. And then it got to a point where they were kind of like, "Don't speak to her, please. Don't say anything." And I don't know if it's because
cool.
I kind of feel like they might have been expecting a puff piece, and
Right,
what she did was uncover, the good stuff and the bad stuff. And this feels like a real documentation of what actually went on during the time. And it
cool.
actually it starts off on the Avengers, like the Avengers is premiered, I think, and it's Kevin Feige basically sitting with the core cast, and then he
Uh-huh.
starts saying like we're going to be making a cinematic universe, and then it kind of spirals out from there. It goes back to the 70s. It talks about the early days of Marvel, their bankruptcy, acquisitions, Toy Biz getting involved, Ron Perlman, and then it kind of goes through the
Yeah.
start of it with Iron Man, all the casting process behind him, and then pretty much every chapter from that point on is it's taking a film, talking about how it was made, the difficulties with it, what
Mm,
went well, and there's just so much stuff in it that I just like, even things that I thought I knew, it expands on them so much. For example, Joss Whedon, I actually didn't realize how much of a hand he had in the decisions of the way that the MCU was going to go, and all his drama with Agents of Shield and stuff. Also, Robert Downey Jr. as well. Didn't realize how much of a hand he had in crafting stuff. And then it goes into things like the Sony acquisition. There's also a civil war within Marvel itself, where it's talking about how Marvel East Coast were kind of at war with Marvel West Coast because they
mm,
were deciding what they could and couldn't do, and it's just so well structured. It really makes it's a trip down memory lane, basically. And I think if you listen to it or if you read it, you're going to remember why you fell in love with this stuff in the first place. And as soon as I've finished it, I was like, I really want to go back and watch the MCU from the start again, which is a feeling I haven't felt for so long because there's been such a focus on the future and new content and these new shows and stuff. And I've not
mm.
really had time to go back and appreciate those older movies. Like during the pandemic, I think I watched through the MCU in total twice. Obviously, there was a lot less titles back then, but there wasn't any new content coming out, and I just went back and I just would watch through them like maybe one a day, and it was I really did enjoy that time, and I've gotten away from it. But this made me remember why I loved it, and it's got great interviews with people on board, everything you'd want to know, and it's structured in a way where it's like a story almost. It has like the highs and lows and what goes into it, and the you appreciate the genius behind the MCU, and yeah, I just absolutely loved it. I think it's definitely worth checking out. And I've no doubt I'm going to be referencing it in future work and talking about it so much. So yeah, if you guys are looking for an audiobook or something to read, or just even just you want to learn one thing about
Yeah.
a certain film, say Civil War is your favorite, and you want to learn something like, for example, Marvel East Coast didn't think that Tony Stark should be in the film, and they also didn't think that heroes should fight each other, and they didn't want the Tony Stark in it at all. They didn't want the airport battle scene,
Mm.
and just crazy stuff like that, and the fights that they had to do to really get those things included in the film. It's worth picking up, and yeah, must have for people who are interested in Marvel. If you listen to this podcast, I'm guessing you are. And if you like a balanced view on things, it's not just like the one that Disney released where it's like Marvel was the greatest thing ever and it had no difficulties and everyone really enjoyed working there and there was no strain at
Yeah.
all. It even goes into things like why Edward Norton and Kevin Feige didn't get along and what he was promised and how he kind of took over the project and stuff. And yeah, it's so well detailed, and I think you're gonna love it if you check it out, which you should. You should, and go and support the book because it's really really good.
Why can't your brand deals ever be this good, Paul? You just
They
you
should
just
be,
gotta
man. I
be
should really hit them up and be like, When am I getting paid for this? I'm
yeah.
shilling
You
now for
just
the book."
totally sold me on this, man. I'm just like, damn, if you could do this for your
Yeah,
those cereals, what is those
yeah,
magic spoons? um,
yeah,
I'd be buying so
yeah,
much Magic Spoon right now. I'm like, damn, you just got really sold me on this Magic Spoon right
yeah.
now.
So go check it out.
That was great. That's no, I mean, I didn't. I had I asked you that question because I had that impression that it was like a Marvel puff piece thing that they're producing, being like, "Here's why Marvel's great." That's what I thought, and then I'm hearing these stories. I was like, "Oh, apparently not." So now you just opened my eyes to it. You genuinely got me intrigued
Yeah,
by it. Yeah,
and I mean, even on Audible, if you haven't had a free trial on that, you can go listen to it there. But fantastic
again,
work.
man, damn, dude, you just sold me on Audible. Like your
Yeah,
brand, your if you did this for Manscaped, I'd be buying some more. I'd be shaving my balls more often.
I do this for Manscaped.
Like,
So, um, but yeah, fantastic. You know what? It makes me optimistic that the MCU can be saved. Again, I know we're very negative, but I feel like documenting stuff like this, like I'm sure Kevin Feige's listened to it or read it. I'm sure the guys picked it up and went through it. And I feel like this might even
yeah,
spark in him. It'd be like, yeah, you know what? We've messed up. Let's go back and fix stuff.
let's fire the Daredevil writers.
Yeah. Let's waste $150 million on Daredevil and go back to square one, you son of a bitch. We're back.
This
Woo!
book made me fire
So yeah,
everyone from Daredevil. Oh man.